Today, we're going to be doing a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Fire Red with only Pokemon used by Misty. The hardcore Nuzlocke rules are on screen and are also in the description. So, taking a look at Misty's teams throughout the mainline Pokemon games, there are some that really don't make sense within the bounds of Pokemon Fire Red. So, I'll be limiting my available encounters to two teams she's used in the past. The Kanto Leaders Tournament team and her Rematch team in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So, that leaves us with 9 potential encounters for this run. But with some being version exclusives to Leaf Green, we'll have even less. Unless Game Freak decided to distribute event Pokemon that were all of the version exclusive Pokemon in this game. So we'll be adding Staryu and Slowpoke to our teams once they're under the next level cap. So let's see if I have what it takes to take on the Indigo Plateau as the second gym leader of the region. We start our adventure in a random house in Pallet Town for some reason without any of our beloved Pokemon. The first thing I try to do is run away, but this old guy tracks me down and offers me a Pokemon for my journey. But when I go to check the Pokemon, a Squirtle catches my eye, looking somewhat familiar. So I take Squirtle and name it Lake, then figure if I want to find out how I got to Pallet Town, I should run to Brock to see if he might know anything. So we make our way to Pewter City without getting any other encounters and enter the gym. I start telling Brock what happened, but it doesn't seem like he recognizes me and attempts to start a fight. Resisting, I send out my Squirtle and one-shot his team. That's so strange, he treated me like a regular trainer taking on the gym challenge. So from here I decide the best thing I can do is go back home to Cerulean City and see what's going on. On the following route, Lake evolves into Wartortle, and right before entering Mount Moon, I find a guy who's selling a Magikarp, who again looks way too familiar to pass up, naming it Locke. So we take it to help out with experience management, as getting through the next 2 gyms would be pretty much impossible with a single mon. Upon arriving in Cerulean City, we attempt to go north to train before entering the gym, just in case any shenanigans are afoot, leading us to a fight with this random kid. And the only way I could see us having enough bulk to get through this fight was to evolve Locke before it. Lake is able to take out the Pidgeotto after some water guns, only for Bulbasaur to come out, causing me to switch into Locke to take any grass attacks neutrally. Bulbasaur hits me with Leech Seed, which takes too much damage way too fast, so I switch back to Lake to shake it off. I then switch immediately back to Locke, who gets put to sleep and starts taking scary amounts of damage, but on the 3rd turn of sleep, Locke wakes up and hits a massive crit bite to take it out. Thankfully, this kid packs a Pokemon that can't damage me, so from here I'm able to switch back to Lake to set up withdrawals before taking out the Abra and the following Rattata after that. That was a close one, and I definitely could have played cleaner, as I totally didn't realize that Bite was a special move before the physical special split up until this point in the run. And I totally didn't forget about grabbing our event Staryu at level 18 that we named Cove, that we definitely could have used before this fight too. Anyways, from here, we entered the gym only to find ourselves just sitting there. Scared out of our minds, we talked to ourselves, and not getting any information out of myself, I challenge myself to a fight. We both start with Staryu, so I attempt to set up Harden in case it goes for tackle. I start whittling it down with Water Gun, but it goes for recover, then hits me with a Water Pulse that confuses me. Scared of losing our newly caught Cove, I switch to Lake, who gets confused but breaks through it to take it out. Starmie comes out next, and thankfully I'm able to outdamage it with super effective Bite. But upon defeating myself, I don't tell me any information. Something weird is going on here. I don't think anyone can actually hear what I'm saying. Weird, but something compels me to move forwards to find out more. And you might be wondering, how is O-Creations going to beat the electric type gym leader with 3 water type Pokemon? And let me tell you, it's not going to be easy. First off, we made sure to pick up the Dig TM and taught it to Lake. Next, Cove has this fun little move called Camouflage that changes the Pokemon's type depending on the location of the battle. And it just so happens that in gym fights, it turns Cove to normal type, who now won't be able to take any super effective damage from those pesky electric type moves. So with all that out of the way, let's see what we can do. I send out Cove, who dodges the incoming Voltorb Screech to set up the Camouflage. Next, we harden just in case it uses Tackle while it hits us with Shockwave, doing just under a quarter. But not thinking correctly, I opt to harden again while Voltorb switches to using Sonic Boom, which will kill us next turn. And yeah, that pretty much killed the entire process. Knowing that it outspeeds and will go for Sonic Boom, I end up having to switch into Lake, who isn't able to outdamage the Voltorb with Dig, causing it to go down. And from here, I try to get a cheeky recover off with Cove, but it's too little too late as Shockwave brings it down. Now it's Gyarados v all, and surprisingly, it's able to take down both the Voltorb and the Pikachu, but just can't do anything when the Raichu comes out, causing us to wipe. That was pretty stupid. I should have been able to see the Sonic Boom damage and went for Recover, or just, stop using Harden, as it wasn't really all too important to do there. But anyways, the run must continue with attempt 2. But eventually, I run back into the Weird Kid and Cerulean before picking up Cove again, and get destroyed by the Bulbasaur Sleep Powder Leech Seed combo. So on to attempt 3, where we pick back up at Lieutenant Surge with a new sense of power, aka Eevee trained Pokemon. So let's see if we have what it takes this time. Cove comes out feeling speedier than ever, setting up a camouflage before a Shockwave comes out. This time, I taught Cove the move Secret Power for that Parachance in the gym fights, which two-shots the Voltorb into the ground while Cove evades the Sonic Boom. Next up is Pikachu, who is one-shot by Secret Power. Holy crap, Eevee training is crazy. From here, the bulky Raichu comes out taking a Secret Power pretty well, as it goes for a Thunder Wave, but we've prepared for this by equipping a Cherry Berry, curing our paralysis. From here, the second Secret Power puts the Raichu into healing range. Thankfully, we don't get fully parried again to hit another Secret Power, but on the next turn, it sets up a double team while I get fully para. Thinking it's going to go for Shockwave at this point, we break through and recover up, but now being outsped, we just have to do damage here. So thankfully we break through again, hitting another Secret Power, leaving the Raichu in deep yellow. At this point, I make a really stupid call. Being deathly afraid of Shockwave damage on Lake or Lock, I force Cove to stay in, putting it into the ground. Thankfully, Wartortle is able to outdamage the Raichu with Dig and take it out, but after the Citrus Berry proccing, I realized we kinda sacked Cove for no reason. Well, I guess the only thing that would have been deathly for Wartortle is a crit, but my ace Pokemon definitely didn't need to go down here, unfortunately. That was gonna be my answer into Erica too, so that'll be a fun fight. Anyways, from here, we stumble through Rock Cave and walk all the way across Kanto from Lavender Town to Celadon City, where Erica resides. And thankfully, we can pick up a new encounter and pull the Eevee, who immediately evolves into a Vaporeon. With our new teammate in hand, we start to prepare for the next hardest gym fight of the run. But while planning, a very helpful chatter, Tom, suggested to grind for the TMs in the game corner, which is something I completely forgot about, allowing us to teach Flamethrower to Gyarados, our only member that doesn't take super effective damage from grass attacks. Additionally, we can pick up the Charcoal to boost said Flamethrower's power. So as we approach the gym and take on Erica, Tom makes a really good point in the chat as we send out Gyarados, only to kill Victreebel with 3 Flamethrowers after a heal, one-shot the Tangela, and after a single Flamethrower brings the incoming Vileplume down to half, it paralyzes us with Stun Spore, allowing the Vileplume to outspeed on the next turn, regaining some health with Giga Drain. And the Gyarados breaks through paralysis and gets a high roll, taking out the Vileplume and winning us the badge. With the first 4 gym badges out of the way and no one seeming to notice who I am, I decide the best thing I can do is to just take on the rest of the gym challenge to prove that my team can do it. And with the early game done, things are looking super great. And with our current level cap being over the event Slowpoke's level, we can add the event Slowpoke named Well to our team, giving us the mod that will basically make the rest of the run free. We start the mid-game slog by beating Giovanni and grabbing the Sylph Scope, battling the rival in the Pokemon Tower, who at this point with access to TMs like Ice Beam is not too big of a deal, and pick up the Pokeflute from Mr. Fuji. And with all of that out of the way, we could finally get access to a few more encounters upon reaching Fuchsia City to get access to the Good Rod, allowing us to pick up Puddle the Goldeen in Fuchsia City. On the other side of the region, we pick up the Super Rod and find Tidepool the Psyduck. After a few evolutions, we got a pretty decent team starting to form. Next up is taking on Silphco, and eventually we reach the rival fight without any problems, and once getting past his scary Venusaur, we get access to Shoal the Lapras, a pivotal teammate to our team. From here, we take on Giovanni to make Team Rocket leave the building, and you can imagine how that might have gone. But before we start the next 2 gym battles, each with the same level cap, we decide to get the Surf HM and the Safari Zone before the fight to teach to over half my team. So in order to deal with the level caps being the same, we decide to take on Sabrina first with Well, a level below the level cap, knowing the move Shadow Ball from the TM in the game corner. We enter the fight as Sabrina sends out her Kadabra. The Kadabra goes for a Calm Mind while I get bulky with Amnesia twice. At this point, I send out a Shadow Ball that in Gen 3 is actually physical, so those Calm Minds didn't really do much for the poor Kadabra there. The Venomoth comes out and trying to confuse me, but I have own tempo, negating it. It does take a bit, but eventually we're able to outdamage the Venomoth with Ice Beam, which brings in the Mr. Mime, who attempts to set up a Calm Mind only to be immediately shut down with a single Shadow Ball. Finally, the big guy Alakazam comes out, and thankfully, with our Amnesia setups, we take Psychics like they are nothing, allowing us to rip off a Shadow Ball, just barely missing out on the kill. But no problems here, as we tank the next Psychic, allowing us to finish the job. Now, it's immediately on to Koga. I send out Well, who is now level 43, and set up Amnesia even though there isn't a single special attack on Koga's team. Wow, good job, O Creations, really bringing the big brain these days, huh? And Coughing hits us with a Sludge, barely chipping us. Next, I'm able to one-shot the Coughing with a Surf, allowing Well to level up, and learns the move Psychic. And you can imagine how the rest of this fight goes. Koga sends out his Muck, and a Psychic just barely doesn't kill, so I go ahead and take this opportunity to get rid of Koga's heals. The second Coughing comes out, just to be put back down immediately, and the big man Weezing brings out the back. Weezing outspeeds and hits us with a Sludge that crits and poisons us, but no matter, as we've equipped a Pecha Berry to deal with this, as we rip off one last Psychic, taking it out and winning us the badge. Sweet! Great work, Well. And with that, we now have the opportunity to pick up our last team member in the Seafoam Islands, Damn the Seal. But with Lapras here on the team, it would be a tough addition to the roster. So for now, it's going in the box with Puddle. Now we've run through the Pokemon Mansion to unlock Plains Gym, and do we need to cover this gym? Oh, we do? Okay, fine, let's start the battle. Oh, wait, it's already over. Okay, good, we're good to go. We can immediately level up our Mons to level 50 and take on the following gym leader, Giovanni. And this isn't as much of a wash, so let's get into it. Oh, just kidding. Slowbro tanks the Earthquakes enough to get one-shots on his entire team. Okay, well, there's the 8 gym badges of Kanto. No new clues of what happened, so let's take on the Indigo League. But first, we have a rival fight to get through. And yeah, Gyarados learned the move Dragon Dance, so we set up on Pidgeot and ran Chesto Resto to get back to full before sweeping the rest of his team with Return. So from here, we can finally reach Victory Road and run through it without any issues. Ah yes, the Pokemon League. I haven't been here since the last annual league meeting last year. Let's see how the Elite Four members are doing. Before we head in though, we choose which Pokemon to bring into the challenge, and we end up with the exact same team that we had before, with Shoal the Lapras, Well the Slowbro, Pool the Vaporeon, Tidepool the Golduck, Lake the Blastoise, and Lock the Gyarados. So with everyone leveled up to 60, the highest level Pokemon of the 4th Elite Four member Lance, we were ready to enter the league. And if you've seen my other Nuzlocke videos, you'll know that I'm a god at throwing the run at the Elite Four. So with all these fantastic water types available to me here, do you think I finally have what it takes to beat a Nuzlocke on this channel? Well, first up is Lorelei, so I send out Locke to hit Return while Dugong sets up the Hail, allowing Locke to take it out on the following turn. From here, the Cloyster comes out, whose only damaging move is Dive, so I decide to hit Dragon Dance until I'm +6, while Cloyster only goes for Spikes and whiffs a few Protects before finally doing some damage with Dive. Now I go for Return, doing way more than just knocking it out. The Slowbro comes out, but isn't able to tank a Return, so Lorelei tries to send in Jinx while the Hail subsides, only to be one-shot again by Return. And you'll never guess what happened after Lorelei sent out her ace, Lapras. Oh yeah, I one-shot it again. Okay, yeah, that was pretty clean. Let's see if we can continue with that momentum against Bruno. So the fight against Bruno commences as I send out Well, who is outsped by merely an Onix, who gets a crit Earthquake that still really only does chip, while I get a crit of my own, taking it out with Surf. In comes Hitmonchan, so I tank the incoming Sky Uppercut while ripping a fat Psychic, taking it out. So far so good. The Hitmonlee is up next, so I tank another move in Mega Kick while taking it out with another Psychic. Out next is the second Onix, who hits me with an Earthquake, but I take it out with Surf, and right as I start worrying about my HP, the Citrus Berry procs. Now feeling safe enough to stay in, the Machamp gets a nasty bulk up off while I hit it with Psychic, just barely missing out on the KO. But it's all good, as I'm able to comfortably take a +1 Cross Chop, only to fire off yet another Psychic, taking it down and finishing the fight. Even though we took decent damage on Well here, we are absolutely killing it, but we're not done yet, so let's keep going. Agatha is up next, so I heal up and start the fight. sending out Well, who gets toxicked by the Gengar, but immediately heals it off with a held Lumberry, allowing us to get a Calm Mind off for free. On the next turn, the Gengar doesn't double up Toxic, opting for Double Team instead, dodging the incoming Psychic. Gengar follows up with another Double Team, but Well connects with the Psychic, taking it down. Agatha's Golbat is out next, and it goes for Confuse Ray, but my own Tempo ability negates it, allowing me to take it out with Psychic for free. And in comes Arbok, and we're able to tank the incoming Sludge Bomb without getting poisoned, while sending another one of Agatha's ghostly team members to the grave. The second Gengar comes out swinging with a Hypnosis, but doesn't connect, giving us the space to take it out with a Psychic. And wouldn't you know it, when the Haunter attempts to do the same thing, we dodge the Hypnosis again, allowing us to win the fight. Holy, we got insanely lucky RNG on this fight, and while getting put to sleep there wouldn't have ended the run or anything, it's just good to know that the RNG gods are on our side this time. But let's hope it stays that way. With one Elite Four member left to go, and not a single death in the gauntlet, I'm feeling pretty good. So we start the battle against Lance, the Dragon Master, sending out Shoal, who up until now hasn't gotten a lot of time in the spotlight, but that all changes now, as she tanks a Dragon Rage and sends out a quad effective Thunderbolt on the Gyarados, taking it down in one shot. Great start, Shoal. Next out is the infamous Aerodactyl, who I have massive PTSD from in the Johtomon's only Nuzlocke, but we stay calm and collected as we know an ancient power is about to come out. And thankfully, it doesn't get the boost, allowing the incoming Surf to cleanly put it to rest. With the Dragonair coming in, Shoal now doesn't have any super effective moves to help out, so I switch to Well while the Water Snake puts up a safeguard. From here, the Dragonair tries to paralyze us, but with the equipped Lumberry, we shake it off, letting us set up a Calm Mind for free. But on the next turn, it goes for Thunder Wave again, actually paralyzing us this time. But we do break through, getting an Ice Beam off and taking it out. With Well paralyzed, we do need to be a little more careful, but I know Well is extremely bulky, so it's relatively safe to stay in, taking Outrage and breaking through Para again to bring down Dragonair 2. With that, the final Elite Four Mon, Dragonite, comes out, hitting us hard with an Outrage, but Well doesn't get fully parried for the third time in a row, allowing us to defeat Lance. Yeah, this is the best RNG I've had in my entire life, and really I can't think of any way that we lose this champion fight. So we enter the next room and heal. Wait, what? Oh, I forgot to. I didn't know that it was. Oh, Birdie, no.
You started the battle.
I started the battle. Oh, no. I forgot that as soon as you enter the champion room, you initiate the battle. Leave it to me to absolutely throw at the finish line. I can't believe I messed this up again, but it's not over yet. With only having used Shoal and Well in the Lance fight, the other four members are on full health with berries equipped, so we are still relatively okay. We just have to jump through a few hoops now. First out is Blue's iconic Pidgeot, and thankfully we still led with Shoal, who tanks an Aerial Ace while the Thunderbolt leaves it in healing range. So while Blue heals it, I hit it with another Thunderbolt. Expecting the next one to bring it down, I go for Thunderbolt again, but Blue switches into Rhydon, making the Thunderbolt do nothing. But that's not too big of a deal, as I can outspeed it and take it out with Surf. But next up is Blue's Venusaur, who is a major threat to the team obviously. Knowing that it's either going to go for growth or try to do damage with its only grass damaging move, Solar Beam, it's mildly safe to stay in and hit it with a Psychic. From here, the Soar Killer is switched in to tank a Solar Beam, leaving it on half. Predicting the Synthesis, I set up a Dragon Dance, and on the following turn, Gyarados hits a crit return, bringing the biggest threat to the ground. That was crazy, but it is not over yet. The Pidgeot comes back out, and Blue heals again, preventing the return from taking it out. But on the next turn, I can finally finish it off, so the Alakazam comes out next, and with a 3 level difference and at +1 speed, I'm hoping to outspeed here to stay alive. So I hit return and outspeed, one-shotting it into oblivion. But coming flying in is Blue's own Gyarados, whose Intimidate brings my attack down to neutral. Knowing that Lapras can't take 2 Thrashes, I have to stay in. Playing cautiously, I decided to rest up to full as I equipped a Chesto Berry, as Gyarados locks itself into Thrash. After a few turns, Gyarados finally confuses itself as both of us get put into kill range. Knowing that Blue has a 4th full restore, I predict a heal and go for return. From here, it's time to go back to sleep as Gyarados again again locks itself back into Thrash. Thankfully though, the confusion comes in on the second turn, and on the following turn while Locke stays asleep, the Gyara is hurt by confusion, allowing Locke to wake up the next turn and put the Gyara into kill range. But it breaks through confusion and hits us with a Dragon Rage. On the next turn, Blue heals again while I break out into Dance, only to rest up on the next turn. This time though, the Gyara gets us down to kill range while still asleep, but knowing I'm guaranteed to wake up the next turn, and with Gyara confused, I rest up again while Gyara is hit with confusion. While Locke stays EP, Blue's Gyara gets hit in confusion 2 more times, so I'm able to wake up and hit a return that just barely misses out on the kill while we tank a Dragon Rage. But on the next turn, we can finally take this guy down with another return. Blue's last Pokemon then comes out, bringing our attack back down to neutral, but with our speed at +2, I still go for return, but the E-Speed comes out swinging and crits me. So from here, I switch out Locke for the one that started it all, our starter, Lake, who can take 2 E-Speeds incredibly well as we go for Surf, taking the Arcanine out, and earning us the title of Champion of the Indigo League. We did it! We proved that I, Misty, can defeat my own league without any issues. Well, maybe except for the one, but we don't talk about that. And as for me, granted with a very good team, I've finally beat my first Nuzlocke on this channel. It's honestly embarrassing that it's taken 4 Nuzlocke videos to get here, but honestly, if I didn't win with the Pokemon Misty had access to, I don't think there would be a challenge out there that I could beat. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I've got more Nuzlockes and Gym Leader redesign videos in the works, so subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when those things come out. I do want to say thanks to my channel members. We've had a bit of an influx come in, and I am so thankful for you guys. But with that, I've been O Creations, and I'll see you all in the next one.